People, Deluded, I'm back again. Thank you very much for tuning in each and every time. A quick one here, but there was certain transfer news I forgot to speak about. You know, it's probably all nonsense. It is all nonsense, but let's speak about it briefly and quickly. First and foremost, apparently Napoli are targeting our two main strikers, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Alexandre Lacazette. Whether they can attain both is another thing. Whether both will go there is another thing. We've also got to remember, on top of being decent players, considering the age they're at, whatever team they decide to go to, whether you're going to have the pick of it in Aubameyang, or if you think Lacazette is punching, they're going to have to both be given respectable wages. So I don't think the Napoli one is going to happen. And I mean, at least in Aubameyang's case, he's been linked with, all due respect to Napoli, if you've been linked with Barcelona and all these teams, you're not going to go to Napoli. Of course, the way of living in Naples is great. Obviously, Aubameyang spent a lot of time living in Italy, so he knows about Naples more so than I could ever speak about, and I'm sure a lot of you do too. But it is what it is. I think they have more chance of obtaining Lacazette. Whether they'll pay the outlay Arsenal are demanding for Lacazette, I don't know. So it is what it is in that regards. We've also heard a lot about Thomas Partey signing for Arsenal. And 1 minute he's going to, 1 minute it's rumours. Until the man's holding the Arsenal shirt, I can't believe that or get ahead of myself. I would love it to happen. We're still very early in relation to how football is reacting to this global COVID-19 thing. And obviously, if I'm hearing Arsenal have got financial implications, I don't think we're going to be in a position to really be announcing things like this anytime soon. One thing that gives me hope is if there is Arsenal, you do hear Arsenal are very keen on him from credible sources. And one thing I'll give Arsenal, whether transfers work out or not, they very rarely get involved if there's not legs to it, or legs in terms of the feasibility of signing the player. Of course, I would love Thomas Partey. I think he'd give us another. I think when you're linked with a player, people look at them as the Messiah. I don't think he's mad amazing and stuff. I do think he's a terrific player. He's a good player. You know, bring a different dimension into our team without a doubt. So hopefully that's going to be the case. Apparently, for obvious reasons, apart from Arsenal's historical ties, wanting to improve under Arteta, wanting to play in the Premier League, apparently he will reject Arsenal for PSG, and latest team linked with it. Apologies, people. Zoom's just told me it's finished recording another thing. But apparently he will reject another team that's been interested in him in PSG to sign for Arsenal because he wants to emulate, that's the right word, emulate a Ghana footballing legend in Michael Essien. Really, he's played for Chelsea and things. I don't know how much that is feasible because, I mean, Partey's a big man to be talking about that. And don't get me wrong, shout out to Essien, shout out to any players that have helped any sort of player in terms of who they idolise. But I think, you know, just purely because Essien played in the Premier is not going to be the reason. It's going to be because of his affinity to Arsenal or any other team he's played in, he wants to play for, and that he might not necessarily have supported them as a boy, but he knows who they are historically. Obviously, the manager plays a part. Obviously, the key thing as to why even putting this interest in Atletico or leaving Atletico is wages. He'll need to be given respectable wages, and that's a whole nother debate. If Partey comes in and he's on respectable wages, probably have to take the pay cut as well. But if he's got one, and you're bringing in these sort of players, if I'm one of these players that have had to take a pay cut and be told certain things, I'm looking at things a bit sideways, especially if players like Partey, in which maybe not in other people's case, but definitely in Arsenal's case, you call a big signing, a big investment in terms of finances, I'd be raising my eyebrows. Hopefully that's the case. But for me, he's been linked with PSG and Juventus. There's no contest or no reason to sign for Arsenal beyond that. So hopefully we sign Partey, but I don't know what it is. Apparently, Arsenal are among the teams keeping tabs on highly rated 15-year-old Celtic youngster Daniel Kelly. I haven't watched him religiously, but he does look like a very good player, can play in a number of midfield roles. Apparently, Arsenal are interested in him. How valid these claims are, I don't know. If we do want him, please bring him and bring that Dembele guy as well, because I think he's going to be a star, a very big player for Celtic in the future. Don't know how true these claims are, but I want the best players at Arsenal and the best young players, so why not bring him in? Finally, though, we've heard Elneny my last feed, we heard Elneny's agent say he's got interest from everywhere. Latest is Elneny is happy in Istanbul and is willing to take a pay cut to stay at Besiktas. One of the priorities for Besiktas' manager is to keep Elneny next season. And if that's true, he's done very well, because at a point, apparently his form was a bit indifferent. If he's willing to take a pay cut, then that makes Arsenal's life a bit easier, because he's that more willing to negotiate with Besiktas. So potentially we can budge over over the transfer fee, you know, and then it could be someone for the squad, but he's probably someone that needs to be moved on in terms of his wages and potentially bringing in a transfer fee, no matter how small it is, to give us money to do other things to invest elsewhere, people. So hopefully that is the case. You've heard Besiktas want him on another season-long loan, which, you know, we can't afford to do that with Arsenal. There's a chance to get rid of people permanently. You know, we've heard he's got interest from Germany, Spain, England, and France. So if he's got that, then, you know, there should be a fire sale of sorts. And let's sell to the highest bidder, quite simply. In that regards, though, I haven't got anything more to speak about, so I'm going to get out of here. It's always a pleasure speaking with you lot. But for now, people, DG, I'm out.